Hello. Okay, so this is probably going to be really awkward, but I'm going to try to film this in one shot because if I need to edit, this is never going up. And this is important that I get this up, like, right now. It's 10 to midnight. I have to be up at 10 o'clock for class tomorrow, 9:45 because I have to shower. I don't care if my roommates can hear me right now. I'm talking to a camera. They're very loud. Actually, they've been really good as of late. Maybe they're not home. Anyway, part of my cheat sheet on my phone. Okay, so we're going to talk about a musical that I knew was closing soon, but didn't realize it was closing this Sunday, In Transit. For those of you who don't know, it's basically just the lives of different people in the subway system, as told through the subway system of New York, and it's the first ever a cappella musical. It's currently playing at the theater in the Round, but it's closing April 16th, so that's why it's April 12th. I need to get this up. It's almost April 13th. So what happened was, sorry, I'm going to be looking at my phone. What happened was last Friday, I entered the lotto on a whim. I actually had plans to see a show on campus that night, but I was like, I'll pay $40 to see this show. I didn't think I was going to like it because I don't like Pitch Perfect. Sue me. And not that I was expecting it to be like that in the a cappella sense, but just like it's by the same people. So I just wasn't sure if I would like it, but I think that I don't like Pitch Perfect because I don't like pop music. So this is not pop music, this is Broadway, and it was so cool. So what happened was my parents didn't want me taking public transportation by myself back to campus at midnight. Honestly, I don't blame them. So my mom picked me up in the city and I went home, but that means I don't have a playbill on me. And there's no song list online. So, I'm just going to go through the characters and talk about them. Okay, so Jane is a discouraged actress. Hashtag relatable. Like, actually, there's one song I almost started crying because it was too close comfort. I didn't cry. Finding Neverland is still the only musical to ever make me cry. But, I saw Margot Seibert. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. She was great. Then there's Nate, who works on Wall Street and is having financial issues because he was just fired. And that's James Snyder. And if you know that I'm obsessed with Crybaby, or that he's like the only reason I got through If Then, I love James Snyder. So, yeah, that was great. I don't have my signed playbill. I'll change the cover. That's what I'll do. I'm going to make the cover of this video my playbill because I'm going home this weekend. I'm going home on Friday. I keep thinking tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, not Thursday. I'm going home on Friday, so I'll update the cover of this, but I'll put the video up then, and then you can just see, like, the thumbnail for the video. It's gonna be a picture of, like, my playbill or something, okay? And then there's Allie, Nate's sister, who is, like, obsessed with running. She's kind of a psycho, in my opinion. Not in, like, the way that, like, she's creepy, but, like, she wasn't dating a guy for that long, and then she moved across the country for him, and then he broke up with her, and now she's, like, trying to get back with him. I don't know. I don't relate. But if you do, like, I'm not calling you crazy. Like, it wasn't like Lenora in Crybaby Crazy. She's just, like, I thought she was a little extra. But she was funny. I love how, like, you didn't know right away that all the characters were interconnected. Oh, sorry if I'm, like, spoiling things, but the show is closing soon, and you should really go see it, because it's sick. The lotto is great. I sat in the second row from the bottom, so it goes B, A, and then double A is literally, like, your eye level with the stage. So I was in row B. Then there's Trent, who's Jane's agent, and then there's Steven, Trent's fiance, who was Telly Leung. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. He was apparently on Glee. The girls at the stage door were saying. There was like 5 of us at the stage door. I saw Justin Guarini. I'm great at pronouncing names. As Trent. Althea. I saw Moya Angela as. She was amazing and she was hilarious. And that was great. That was great. And then added for, oh, okay. So then there's just, like, minor characters: Nicholas Ward, David Abels, Jerry Ann Perez, Marianne Torres. play multiple characters. Okay. And everyone kind of like doubles in the show. I feel like that's what happens. But some of my favorite songs, I don't know what any of the songs are called because I don't have the playbill in front of me. But I really liked the song. Well, I liked how the show opened. I really liked the duet that Jane and Nate sing. I really liked, there was a scene, it was like a song scene about comparing being a wingman to like playing hockey. And I thought that was really funny because they made we were actually recently talking with the Rangers going to the playoffs about like the names on the Stanley Cup and how some of them are spelt wrong. And one of the ones that's spelt wrong is the Maple Leafs, and it's spelled like Levves for one of the years or something. And the whatever the article was like this person's still not over them being the Maple Leafs, not the Maple Leaves. And there was actually a joke in the song where he's like, you can't just be one Maple Leaf, you need multiple Maple Leafs. And he's like, I think you mean leaves. And he's like, no, Leafs. And like, as a hockey fan, I thought that was really funny. But there's definitely a lot of jokes like, all local trains will be running express and all express trains will be running local, and the queue is a bus. Good luck with that. Or the N train is suspended undeniably and indefinitely. Just like a lot of, I think, like New Yorker jokes. And I think that might be the reason that it's closing, is that it's cool in the sense that it's an a cappella musical, but for tourists, I don't think they really get it, because there's a lot of jokes about like the New York subway system and like just New York things in general, like the thing about the Rangers, Maple Leafs. Like, if you're not a Rangers fan, if you're not a hockey fan, so obviously if you're from like away from a country that doesn't do the hockey thing, or I don't know, there's just like, I could understand how it's not a very touristy show. Like with On the Town, there's a lot of New Yorker jokes, but there's also jokes that tourists understand. So like with this show, I feel like a lot of the jokes would go over the tourists' heads. And I definitely felt that there were things that I was like rolling laughing at, that it was clear that some audience members were not getting. And so I think that's the reason why. Okay, so then like the character that starts the show is called Boxman, and I saw Heaven Cantor as Boxman, and he was sick. Like, it was so cool, some of the things he did, because it's an all a cappella musical, so he's really the one that's like, he's Boxman, he's the beatboxer, he's the sound effects, he's so talented, and that was crazy. And I think it's so cool how he's like a busker in the subway. I hate myself because I know what the word busker means because of Mary Poppins, but he's a busker in the subway, so all these different plot lines that are like interconnected, that are sort of interconnected, are really tied together by them all being in communication with Boxman in the subway. And I thought the set was really cool, and I think because they have an aisle going down the center, because it's in the theater in the round, like that's so hard to block in, but they have an aisle going down the center that like moves like it's a train. Like the parts where they're on the train, they have to be bouncing and they have to move back and forth. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to block Rock Island when I was in The Music Man. I'm so happy I was not in that number. But it looked like really cool. And there was just like a lot of unexpected twists and stuff, and I thought the music was really cool, but honestly it looked like a lot of the seats were sold, so financially I don't know why it's closing, but from a tourist's perspective, I can understand why it wouldn't be as popular. Also, it's not as well advertised, and welcome to the Broadway Renaissance, where 1,000,001 shows are opening, and nothing's competing with Dear Evan Hansen, except maybe Anastasia and Natasha Pierre, so, which I refuse to call Great Comet, because when I was first introduced to the ART production, everyone I knew was referring to it as Natasha Pierre, so sorry for not calling it Great Comet. This is me with Miss Peregrine's versus Peculiar Children. It's Miss Peregrine's. Anyway, but yeah, so there's so many shows. Sorry, hold on. I'm literally Sunday in the Park with George, with Jake Gyllenhaal, and Natalie Ashford, but like Jake Gyllenhaal's movie star. I'm pulling up a list of all the shows. Come From Away. Shut up. Come From Away is doing really well, and I really want to see that. There's so many shows I want to see, but I'm actually, because I'm still salty that I didn't see Holiday Inn, I'm really happy that I got to see the show before it closed, because I didn't even know it was closing. I entered the lotto on a whim, and I was so shocked to see that I won, and I was like running for the bus. It was not fun, but it was fun, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Here we go. Oh, Amelie too, because of Pippa and Henry in Next to Normal. His name will come to me. No. I was going to say Barrett Davis. That's who I saw as Valentine in Mary Poppins. Okay. Amelie, Anastasia, Bandstand, A Bronx Tale, Cats, Charlie, Paramore, Come From Away, Dear Evan Hansen, Falsettos, Groundhog Day, Hello Dolly, Holiday Inn, In Transit, Miss Saigon, Great Comet. You happy? I'm reading the marquee. Sunday in the Park with George, Sunset Boulevard, and More Pain. Oh yeah, so then you also have like Glenn Close and Bette Midler and Patti LuPone. But yeah, so those are all the shows that open this season. That's psychotic. I think I read somewhere that's the most shows that have ever opened in one season. But yeah, so I just wanted to say, if you get the chance to see this video before April 16th, totally go see In Transit, because I think it's so worth it. And I thought it was really cool, and I think, despite the lack of advertisement, I think we should try to spread it as much as possible, because I don't think it deserves to just be the first a cappella musical, and that's why it's remembered in theater history. I want it, like, there are so many shows that I feel like get brushed under the rug because they didn't do well on Broadway, and sometimes it's just the season that they opened. That, like, if they opened a different season, they may have won the Tony Award for Best New Musical, but if they opened the same season as Fun Home, then not even Laura Michelle Kelly or Matthew Morrison or Kelsey Grammer or Teal West can get a nomination. Yes, I'm still salty about Finding Neverland not getting any Tony noms. Anyway. So, I don't want it to just fade into the background and just be like, oh, it was the first a cappella musical, because even so, there are musicals that are important to theater history that I feel like kind of get forgotten, like Showboat. I feel like not a lot of people know Showboat. That was the first musical to have a black lead. I mean, obviously you have your A Chorus Line and Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera and Music Man and West Side Story and Anything Goes, Guys and Dolls, like popular shows that are just going to be around, and I don't think it's going to, like, I don't think that this is the type of show that would end up like that, but I think that it deserved a longer Broadway run, and you should totally try to go see it before this Sunday. I know it's Easter weekend and it's Passover, but, like, it's a really good show, and I feel bad that's closing. The cast was amazing and super sweet. Almost everyone came to the stage except Justin. Come on, Justin. So, yeah. That's my spiel. Sorry this is long. I would have edited it, but like I said, I want to get this up before Sunday, and I have no time to edit it before then, so yeah. I love you guys. I might post other theater reviews. I have some recorded. I vlogged when I went to BroadwayCon, but I also had like breakouts everywhere, and so I hated my life. And I think that shows in the videos. But, yeah. So, I love you guys, and I'll see you eventually. Bye.